Yes, good afternoon, everybody. It looks like we got lots of people again, and I want to thank everybody. We had 150 some odd people, view the last YouTube video. Actually, they viewed the first one, and the first one was a lot of stuff, but the second one actually, I think, is gets pretty in depth with what we were trying to get through with idea generation and how to come up with new careers and plastics and then I think at the end of that, when we tied it up, we said let's throw it out there for everybody to come up with your idea of where you want to go for the next two entrepreneur or not entrepreneur class, but I career counseling type thing. Let me move off this. And so I threw it out there, and one of the topics was food. Another topic was being a doctor. So what I've done is, and I guess I'll leave that up to you, Michelle, now to let those people in. Yeah. So what I've done is I've done this one on medical, and the next one we will do on food. And food is just as exciting as medical, but I did medical first. It took me all week to try to get this in order, and I think that I've got a great thing for you. So without spending a lot of time on the intros and stuff, I want to get into the polls first. So the first poll we want to do is, what is your favorite subject in school? And I think Michelle is going to pop that up on the screen. And okay. So, and we want everybody to go in on this poll. Okay. I believe there was an other in there too, but I don't see other there now. So I guess that came out. Oh, you can scroll down and there's other as well. Yeah, other. Okay, good. Okay, math, chemistry, physics. Is it interesting? There's no biology here so far. Oh, there's somebody for biology. And let's see. Okay, we're getting everybody now. Let's try to get everybody's participation in this, only because then I've got 20 now. Okay, well, we're there. We've got 36, just under 40. Actually, we got a lot of people in the class. Okay, so when we get over 40, that's great, or 30, I should say, which is great. Thank you. So if I scroll down here, I see 10 for biology, 37 for math, 10 for chemistry, 3 for physics, business, and 37 other. Okay, I didn't want to make it 7 or 8 or 9 different things. So the other, what I'd like to do is, if somebody can just in the chat box type in, when language is assumed to be unlike, Tony. I like, okay. What other topics can you just type in on the corner here where it says chat? What other topics you like? And it gives me an idea of where everybody's at in school. History, gym, okay. History, ELA, yep. English of the cooking, great, okay. Bio, yeah, Derek, okay. Coding, great. Drama, thank you. So, and why I'm asking this is because this is really important for me to understand what types of careers we can go down the path. It's not just about medical, but I think what you're going to find today is that when you think about medicine, you think about, doctors, right? So I'm going to, now that I've got this poll and I see everybody's secondary questions like gym and ELA. What's ELA again? English learning, or what is ELA, Sean? I should know what that one is, but. Yeah, English language arts. Okay, got it. So we got bitter cold. I'm glad you've come out of the cold, bitter cold. That's good. So English is like, okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to ask the second question now. In the medical world, what career do you think pays the highest? So these are the two. We won't do another poll until the very end, okay? Which is, do you think we have enough doctors? Neurosurgeon, Tony, yeah. We're going to put the poll up here, and see what people think. We need everybody to. Mike. There you go. Okay. So if everybody can answer this one now, lots of answers. Okay. What do we got? Surgeons, yep. Doctor, family doctor, marketing, sales agent. There's some smart people out here. 30 responses. It looks great. That's 33 responses. Nice. CEO, big tech, biotech analyst. Okay, good. Nurses, 0. Marketing, sales agents. Very good. Surgeons. Great. Okay, that's a lot of responses there, right? 36. By the way, thank you for responding to the polls as well, because it gives me an understanding of where your mindset is right now, and where I'm going to take this as I walk through it, because there's 4 or 5 different routes I can take if I see that everybody says surgeon or everybody says CEO of biotech. So now I know that some people are thinking business. Nobody puts in nursing as certainly a high paid job. This is not a poll about what you want to do. This is about what you think is the highest paid. So great answers, everybody. So I want to recap the first 2 workshops, and only quickly. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to let Miss Shelley do that. The first recap is this. And you can see I put my last name is Moon, so I thought I'd put the moon in here because I have a very small ego, right? I'm just kidding, everybody. So usually have stock, not income. Tony, you've been around a little bit. You've been in the classes. So Tony's been in business classes, so he knows. And I think that what I will show people is that's why you're taking business classes with us as well, because you're going to learn a lot about the business world and how it interconnects in with your career, no matter what you're taking and what education you've taken. So, let's do it. By modeling the careers, you're easing the fears of unknown. So I want to tell you a little story time about me in high school and my missed opportunities by not fully getting the full picture. And I would think that maybe a lot of people in this course or in this lecture, by the way, that everybody's logged in here, have got the same fears. And I'm not blaming the education system. I'm just saying it's just not working properly to get people to understand where they could be. So when I would walk down to my career guidance counselor or talk to my teachers, okay, I've got to learn calculus, or I've got to learn trigonometry because math is important for engineering. And there were several levels of engineering, right? There was electrical engineering, and there was, back in my time, there was just beginning coding engineering and some of these other things. But there wasn't civil engineering. But when I broke down the careers within those areas, I didn't actually know what careers were in those areas. Okay. And so what that stopped me from doing is modeling a career that I could say, I really like that career. There's the education I need to take to get there. And because I didn't understand the full scope of the career that I was looking at, I didn't understand where to go. And so when I chose my side, I chose business because it seemed like the most open area to go in at the time, because I liked engineering. I liked the medical world. Okay. I had good marks, but I didn't have 99%. I had, 86, 87. Math was higher. But I didn't understand what would get me into medical school properly. I didn't understand what would get me into this. And I didn't just want to become a doctor, but I didn't understand there was thousands of other jobs in the medical world that had nothing to do with being a doctor that I believe to this day I would have loved to have done, including the biotech. So I'm going to walk you down that. And maybe everybody in this class, I don't know if you've had that same experience where if you love medicine, the only thing you're thinking about is becoming a doctor. But the doctor is just one little aspect of the entire medical world. And where the most money comes from is not in the doctors, by the way. So people that chose doctors, they are paid well, but they're not paid anywhere close to what other people are paid at in the medical world that don't have gone to med school. Okay, so we're going to go down those paths today, and I think you guys are going to be quite surprised. And I think that by having somebody said this in the class the other day, let's go down the doctor side. I've opened up this to a very big area for you guys to see. So today we're going to study the world of the business. And what I mean by the world of business, I'm saying the world of the medical world, okay? And you're going to see that it is a business, whether you're a doctor, a dentist, a surgeon, or you're working for a CEO of a big biotech company or a pharmaceutical company, or you're solving cancer. It's a very, very big business world, and it is just as important to understand the business side of it as it is to understand becoming a doctor or a PhD in biology of certain things. We're going to go down the idea tree again, but we're going to do the idea tree near the end in a different route, and we're going to do the idea tree in the middle only on opportunities. And then we're going to create some new ideas at the end as well. So the top-down approach today is going to be the entire medical industry. We're looking down from the top, so remember that word, top-down approach, because we use it at all the schools, okay? And we're looking at the overall picture of the medical world, which means you could be a doctor, you could be a nurse, you could be solving cancer or many different diseases like diabetes, or you could be working in a technical area where you're trying to solve people with x-rays, or your administration running hospitals, okay, or sales selling pharmaceutical drugs, or bringing in capital for a company to help pay to build pharmaceutical companies or practices. So I'll give you guys an example here. A dentist. Do you think a dentist needs to be a business person? What do you guys think? You know, not everybody has to answer, but some people, yes or no. What do you think, guys? And girls, do you think dentist? Yeah, Sean says yes. Tony says no. Any other thoughts? No, Brian? So the question was, do you think a dentist has to be a business person? Jordan says yes. Jordan's been around. I can always tell you somebody to do it. Yes. Some great answers. We got a lot of yeses and nos. Fantastic. So while we're getting those answers, I'm going to say, here's the answer to that question. The answer is yes. A dentist needs to be a business person, and I'll tell you why. So when you start your dentistry business, has anybody here driven by all the different dentist offices that are out there? And have you noticed that they're always saying patients are welcome? Why do you think patients are welcome? Why do you think patients are welcome? Anybody want to throw that out there? Why do you think they have signs? They need more people, Tony. Absolutely. Okay, they need to get more business. I think a lot of people have a misconception here that when you go through your 7 years of dentistry school to become a dentist, you're going to be handed patients. Okay? It's not the way it works. You come out, you've got to create your own practice. So when you create your own practice, you have to do your own marketing. You have to get people to come to your dentistry. You also have to go and buy all the equipment for your dentistry, which means you have to go to the bank and negotiate loans. You have to go and negotiate leases with the equipment people. You have to hire people. Now, as somebody just said here, you can go and use services to do hiring of employees, but you still have to work with those employees. You have to do all the scheduling. You have to understand the technology it takes to run your practice. This is all as a dentist. So you do have to understand the world of business on raising money and growing. And at the same time, you still have to do your career, which is take care of your patients and make sure that their teeth are okay. And finally, last but not least, as some people will know in my business class, because there's people here on my 5 rules: management, legals, liability, competition, and capital, money. You need all those 5 things to run a dentistry. But here's the problem. If you make a mistake on somebody's tooth and they get hurt, are you going to face a liability, a legal lawsuit? What do you think? Yes or no? Yes, Michael. So you will also be sued. So you need to do the legals. You have to understand insurance, Tony. Yes. So you can think about this, guys. Even though you went through school to become a dentist or a doctor, in the same case, a family doctor, you still need to understand the business world for all the other aspects of your business. So you just have to win your case. Yes, Tony. But it's not easy. And if you spend a lot of time in the courtroom, right? You're not going to be spending a lot of time in your dentistry, which means you're not going to be making as much money, right? So you can see all the different aspects of the business world that affect every single career, not what you think it is. Study being a dentist and a lawyer, Sean. Yeah, but then that takes another 4 or 5 years, right? So it's not easy, okay? And that's why you need to understand the business with your career in almost every area that you go in. So let's move on now from the top-down approach of looking at the overall medical world into the bottom-up approach now, which is all the types of careers and where the money's at. Okay, I think you guys are going to find this quite exciting today. So, first things first, as always, I want you to be reminded of that generation tree. And when I've talked about that generation tree, and Elon Musk has been the person that created or didn't create the generation tree, but uses it, I've linked this link here that people can look at, and it's here. So when we send out the PowerPoint, you will see this link, okay? And it's to Medium, and the whole article is here about what Elon Musk said. And you'll see right here, he's actually written a book on the first principles. It is important to view knowledge as a sort of semantic tree. Make sure you understand the fundamental principles, i.e. the trunk and the branches, which we've discussed in the earlier classes, before you get into the leaves of the details, because then there's nothing left to hang on to, okay? So by showing you that in the tree, what I'm saying with the top-down approach in the medical world is you need to see where the medical world is going with the funds, the capital, and of course you need to find that modeling of that career, and you need to have that passion. Just because there's a lot of money going to a certain area in the medical world doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy that job, and therefore you probably won't stay in that job either. So you do need to understand where the money's going at, what types of careers are in that area where the money's going at, and then model those careers and see if you actually like them or not. And if you do, then you can pick the education that goes with it. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that today. Okay? So here we go. Why do we choose this field, the medical industry? Well, I think a lot of people have a lot of different passions for the field of medical. It's socially responsible. They want to help people, right? They want to either give a physical help, they want to help people around the world, they want to develop medicines that can save people's lives, whether it's in cancer or many other areas, diabetes, okay? Then what other career opportunities that exist? I'm going to show you a lot of career opportunities that are going to blow your mind here today, guys. Then I'm going to show you where all the money is going, okay? We're going to show you all those jobs that are available. And then I'm going to throw out some new ideas for everybody so that you can see potential new occupations that we haven't even thought about yet. Okay? So follow the passion, follow the money. Here we go. We're going to start with the occupation medical industry tree, but really what I want to show you is before I throw this out there, I could ask everybody here to name some occupations. But in the time that we have today, I want you to show, here's the occupation tree. When you see the occupations on the next page, you can take this idea generation tree yourself, okay? And when you get the PowerPoint presentation for this, which Miss Shelley will send out, you can start to fill in all the occupations that you have found on the next sheet and start breaking them down, okay? And I provide you all the links to go look at all the types of occupations. And this is the form base of that tree. I'm building you the base. You've got to do the work, okay? This is the hard part about first principles that Elon Musk did. Everybody wants to be a trigonometry or calculus, but they don't build up their algebra. Everybody wants to be a great chess player, but they don't want to do 1,000 moves on one move because it's boring, okay? But that's how you become good at each spot. It takes work. The same as when you're career modeling. It takes work, but you've got to be able to do this work, the base part, to understand all the different types of potential careers that are out there, and then the education, the money, and what's there. Okay, so let's start. Here we go. Occupations in the medical world based by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. By the way, labor is spelled labor in U.S. In Canada, it's L-A-B-O-U-R, just so you know. Okay, and this is as of 2022. So this is everything I'm going to show you today is current 2022 stuff that's going on around you, not 30 years ago. Okay, so we're going to open this up. I'm going to show you something. And you got everybody here will have access to these links. So, and why is this important? Because on this page, we see not just about being a doctor, okay, that's one of the healthcare careers, but here's all the types of careers that are available in the healthcare sector. And here's the median pay. Now, just because you see that pay, it doesn't mean that it might not be significantly higher, okay, and it might be slightly lower. But here's all the average pays for these people. So I want to show you something. When you're on this web link going forward, because you'll have access to it, you can now, wow. You'd be surprised, James. Not everybody gets paid what you think they get paid out there. Okay. And sometimes the dentists make on average, and this is the US, okay, as of 2021, dentists make 163,000 US. Now, if you put that in Canadian terms, that's over 200. Remember, these are all US dollar denominations. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. So it is quite a bit higher in Canadian by about 33%. Okay, on the dollar. So you just have to times all these numbers by 0.33, and you could do this on a dentistry by just doing this. The dollar is 163 on a dentist times 1.33 right now for US dollars. So that's about an average of 216,000 Canadian, okay, for a dentist. But it's not what people think it is. And you could go down here and see all these occupations right down to physicians and surgeons, okay? The wages equal to or greater than 208,000. But what I want to show you here is that if you pick a spot like this, radiation, you can click on it now, and now you can see all the things that are involved with radiation. What do you do? Okay, you can click on this, work environment, what it's like, where do you work, how do you become a radiation therapist? You can click, and it shows you all the educational requirements to do this. And by the way, it's not becoming a doctor. Okay, so this is a great website for everybody that wants to look at. And you can see here, if I scroll back, doctor is just one of like tons of different jobs in here. Okay, even veterinarian technicians and veterinarians are all considered part of the medical world. Respiratory therapist, that's a huge job now. You can see all the children that are in hospitals right now with respiratory virus at sick kids, and you can click on it, and then you can come in here and you can see here's all the types of jobs. What do you do? What's the work environment like? How to become a therapist? Here's all the education. Okay, so this is the start to helping you and this is as detailed as you're ever going to get. This is the start to how to look at different careers. Okay, and I suggest that everybody goes through this, even if they don't like medical world. Your job here is to be able to find these things. I think we got some talking here.
Right.
Okay, we'll just ask everybody. The idea here is that each of these areas you want to start breaking it down and seeing all the different things that occur within these areas. So you might find this quite interesting, okay? And you might not. But the key here is always you're looking to find things that you don't know about yet that might interest you and create a career and take a lot of the risk or stress off you for not knowing where you want to be, okay? So that's a great link. So what I want to show you now is a PDF. Oops, here, I'm just going to do a salary report. So here is the U.S. salary report, okay, 2022 again, of all the salaries that are out there for all the different occupations, okay? So I'm not going to go through it all today, but you can see all the different areas that salaries and and you can see all the different things that are there. Research, executives, scientists, principal scientists, directors. Not all these people have medical degrees. And yet look at the types of salaries that they're, and this is all US, that people are getting as the director of a company. quality systems. These are not all medical people. These are managers of the office, engineers, specialists. Again, making very great incomes in the world of the medical world because there is a lot of money in the medical world. So this helps alleviate, again, a lot of the fears of what am I going to do in my life? I'm not great at chemistry. I'm not great at biology. Okay, I'm not great at math, maybe, but I really love medicine. Well, I'm never going to go down that path because that's for people that are all good at biology or math. Well, that's not the case, everybody. You can find lots of jobs in this business that have a passion for medicine, but don't necessarily mean that you have to go through 11 years of being a doctor, which is the time frame it takes to become a doctor. Okay? So there you go, guys. I just want to show you that one as well. You're going to have access to all these pages, okay, when you get this PDF. Okay. How about find a career first? I don't know who Obama is, but you know what? Maybe Obama, are you here to learn careers or? Because we are learning this. I like to have Minecraft in the back because my daughters are both going to medical school or to med positions and they still play Minecraft. So there you go. Okay. For everybody that doesn't like Minecraft, well, that's too bad, Obama. So now I want to show you something else. If I show you a biotech researcher, okay, a biotech researcher. And again, this is another page that I want everybody to go to afterwards and take a look at. And this is biotech. So you guys can go and click on this video. So reason why I'm giving you all these links is because I found that these are the best links that I could find to help you get educated in the areas of the medical world. Okay. And this is a great video on how to become a biotech biologist and the careers that it takes and earning a degrees and all the other types of things that are involved with actually becoming in the biotech industry, the biotechnology area. That means you're not a doctor. You're working on things like trying to find a better drug, trying to find a better way to mechanism of action to apply a drug, all the things that go on that you don't know about in the medical world that are big paying jobs that are doing a great thing of helping people as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you here shortly some of the pays on biotech and where that leads to. Again, yes, Sean, aren't biotech companies very risky? Yes, I think anything's risky, Sean. If you worked, and by the way, this is the reason why you ask questions here, Sean. If you work for Mercedes, right? And Mercedes is a great company to work for, right? But a lot of people are being fired at Mercedes right now. Why do you think they're being fired at Mercedes? Does anybody want to know why a lot of people are being fired at Volvo, Mercedes, and Toyota? Cost cutting, yeah, but why? Recession, yes. Deeper answer, everybody. Why? Robots, yeah, robots are doing a lot of that. AI, absolutely, Michael. Because electric cars are coming up. And a lot of the people that were working for Mercedes for the last 30, 40 years dealt with combustible cars. Okay, so their expertise is in combustible cars, not electric cars. Okay, so everything's a risk, just so you know. You need to be always reevaluating your career because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a position where you might not have a job. Okay, and as we discussed in the very first one, okay, where we talked about Angel the book and how things were changing so dramatically that all of you are going to be in a different world here where your careers are going to change much more rapidly than we've been used to in my past. Okay, where you're constantly going to be looking for re-education, okay, or updating your area of expertise because things are going to be dramatically changing for you. So let's get into this. I want to show you guys how to go find some interesting careers while you're doing other education. Okay, so I'm going to show you all the major, well, I'm going to show you two major pharmaceutical companies, and these are very big companies, but look at what you can do when you go to the different companies. And again, you're going to have access to all these links. So here's a very big company called Bristol Myers. Okay. And at Bristol Myers, if you go to Bristol Myers, they will provide you with all the links of all the big pharmaceutical companies. You're going to see them here shortly. Okay. When you go there, you can go and see Careers Home working with us, all the different types of early career opportunities, co-ops, things that you can be doing while you're going to school for something different. Career stories. Okay, so I want to show you down here. Here's a great example of programs that are being run while you're doing other things. Remember, Bristol Myers is a very big pharmaceutical company. Do you see med school here? I see accounting school. I see MBA school, business. I see masters in leadership. Okay, I see strategic leadership stuff. So why is it that they're looking for all these people with business and leadership and accounting areas? Well, you can actually be involved in first year MBA school or second year MBA school or first year leadership school or undergraduate, graduate MBA program. And you can actually go work at Bristol Myers, okay, doing full-time 3-year programs to learn how to become a better commercial leadership development person, an HR leadership, which is human resources. Why would a pharmacy need medical people? Well, of course, they always need medical people, Tony, because pharmacies need medical people that have gone through a lot of people will go to med school, Tony, and not suddenly become a doctor, but understand the medical world well and want to go into the drug area. Okay. But I'm also showing you because I think a lot of people are in high school that say medical world, and the only thing they think about is being a doctor. And they say, well, that's off the list, so I can't go into the medical world because I don't understand it. So the whole idea with this career modeling here, Tony and everybody, is to show you that when you say medical world, it's a much bigger area than just becoming a doctor or a nurse. Okay? And so why I'm giving you all these links, and I'm glad you're chatting there, is because I'm showing you that you might have a passion for the medical world, but never understood all the different job opportunities because you say, well, I'm going to go to business school. Well, while you're at business school, you could have been taking some other recruitment or assignment programs at some of the big or pharmaceuticals that are giving you that opportunity. Okay, so while you're at school, you could be doing these with other big companies and come out much further ahead than other people. So that's why you're seeing this today. And that's why we're taping it. So you can go back and look at it. You have access to all the different links that I put together. So I will show you more careers. And when I'm doing this, I'm also telling you another thing. This is by showing you Merck careers, by going to all the big pharmaceutical companies, it shows you how to go and search for jobs. Okay. And this is the work that I'm talking about that you have to do when you're looking at the trunk of that first principles tree like Elon Musk. You say, well, here's all the great things. Well, you would never know all those jobs exist if you hadn't done the work to go and look at the company sites, but you wouldn't know to find those company sites if I didn't show you right now that those exist. And once you know those sites exist with the companies, you can now go in and do your own due diligence and start looking at this type of stuff and look at it and go, well, Associate Director of Outcomes Research. And you can click on it, and now it gives you a full job description. It gives you all the additional responsibilities. It gives you your requirements of education. Okay, in this case, you need a doctoral degree or a master's degree in a school of medicine. So these are all the things that you can do, and you can click on them, and you get lots of access to information. Some of these jobs be gone once we get, good question, Sean. Wouldn't some of these jobs be gone once we get the degrees here down the road? Well, and we discussed that in the very first class, right? Which was the Angel, how many of these jobs are going to be around when you finish education, okay? And that's a very good question. That's one of the reasons why we're holding these classes is because there is a lot of fear that these jobs won't be available for you. So what's the point, right? And Sean, that's a great question. So what I'm going to show you next, okay, very shortly, will answer your question about how much money is going into the world of medicine. And what's important about this is that because all that money is going to the medical world, it's not just going to be a doctor. It's going to all these other jobs that I'm showing you right here that are going to be around when you finish high school and when you're looking for a career. But you need to know that these are some of the areas that you want to model as careers before you finish high school, so you can help start picking your career at education level at university. And without having a very good, broad understanding of those types of careers, you're going to be lost. Okay, so great question, Sean. Are these jobs going to be around when we come out? And I'm going to show you how much money is going into this area, which will tell you how things are. For the for the people that want to become a doctor, I brought this slide up because this is a great slide, okay, that really shows everything about medical schools, number of students. Now, this is all US, by the way, and how many people are in the school, how long it takes to go through the school, length of schooling on average, okay, and it gives you all the averages. The cost of education, again, all in US money, okay, residency programs. It's about, the opportunity to get into med school is about 5%, but once everybody's in med school, almost 96% of all the students graduate. So if you get into med school, you're in there, you've done well to get there, you will graduate. So the fear is that if you get there, you're going to fail. That's probably not the case. The odds are that you're going to do very, very well. But you'll see a lot of students don't graduate or graduate, okay, with 4-year, but they don't go and become a doctor. Where did you go to McDonald's? Well, James, I think you can figure out that if you go to McDonald's, you can figure out your pay scale. Hamburger University, exactly. But that's not what we're here for. But if there's people that want to go to McDonald's, then you're going to waste our time here for everybody else in the course, because you're trying to figure out a much more interesting career that's going to pay you well and help you get ahead, and at the same time, maybe help yourself and other people around you. So that's a very good link if you want to go check out medical schools. And then the PDF I'm going to show you after, okay, is the salary report again. So I've just already shown you it before, but you can go and check it again for all the life sciences in the medical world. Go have a look. I think you'll find that quite interesting. So now we're going to come down to, I'm going to show you something. Clinical trial. Now, not everybody here wants to become a doctor, okay? But here's how big the world is of medicine when it comes to just people involved with clinical trials and becoming a CEO. Yep. So I'm going to click on this, guys, and it's going to blow your mind. And this is something that everybody has opportunity to grab when they finish the day. Here's the clinical trials in the world. This is the US government clinical trials site, okay? And right now, around the world, in 221 countries, there are 434,970 clinical trials going on. So what does that mean? Let's go type in something. I'm going to show you how to use this website. Cancer. Let's go type in cancer. Okay? And I can then go down and see all the different types of cancer. But let's just click on cancer and search. There are 93,000 trials going on around the world in cancer, all different types of cancers, pain cancer, neck cancer, breast cancer, and you can go page after page after page, okay? Now, each one of these trials, I want to show you something. I'm going to go type in a company, and I'm going to type in a company called Conditioner Medicina, okay? And we're going to talk about Medicina today as one of the companies that tried. They're running a trial right now on immunotherapy cancer. When I click on it, okay, you can see that here's all the things that are being done in this trial. And you can see where all the different trial sites are being run, which I'll show you down here, in Florida, United States, Australia, Canada, even in Canada, Princess Margaret Hospital right here in Toronto, okay? So these are all the trials. How many people do you think are employed to run all these trials that are not just doctors? It's hard to answer because we have so many people on the call. Do you think this employs a lot of business people? Managers, Tony. Yes, a lot of people. So again, not being a doctor, these are accountants, these are administration people, these are recruiting people to get the patients, managers. It's a huge, huge world, guys. And I'm showing you all this because I want you to think that when you think about medical, you're not thinking about a doctor, you're thinking about a very big world of money, okay, that is going around. And I'm about to show you that right here. So if I click on this page here, here is the budget for cancer. This is just the US, guys. In the US alone, you can now go down and look. This is the estimate. This is 2021, by the way. In brain cancer, $595 million goes there. Breast cancer, $514 million. Clinical trials, just for some areas, $233 million. Leukemia, $240 million. Liver cancer, lung cancer, $403. These are just the amounts of money in the millions that are going towards each area of cancer alone. Not diabetes or all these other types of diseases that are out there, just cancer alone. So the answer to your question, Sean, is, are these jobs going to go away in the next 2 or 3 years by the time you get out? It's not likely, okay? Because these are massive areas of money that are being spent all the time. So if you're looking for careers in medicine, you know the money is going to be there. And that's going to give you the opportunity to be paid for your research and what you want. So why clinical trials go down so much? Well, clinical trials don't always work out. I mean, people have been trying to solve cancer for a long time, Tony, and they haven't yet. But that's always what people are working on. And they've done a great deal in solving cancer. If we went back 20 years ago, people died a lot earlier than they did now. Biotech stocks are gambling. Well, look, everything's a gamble. We just talked about that, Sean. So, I mean, we're bringing up the same thing again. We're talking about the industry as a whole. So if you want to work in this industry, these are all the types of jobs that exist. Now, let's go take a look at a company, Medicina, okay? Or I'll just show you right now the pharmaceutical company. So, Sean, you say that biotech stocks are gambling. You're right. Maybe they're gambling. But let's go take a look at the big biotech companies out here. Here's a page of 25 companies. And here's what the CEOs are making at the biotech companies that you are concerned about that are gambling. Allergan makes 32.8 million US a year. Merck, 17.6 million a year. Regeneron, 26 million a year. Okay, let me flip to the next row. Eli Lilly, Amgen, Vertex, 17 million, 12 million. These are all incomes for the CEOs that are running these companies. Okay, so Illumina, Waters, Mettler, these are all just the top 25. There are hundreds of pharmaceutical companies out there, and Pfizer's making 28 million per year. Okay, so these are the CEOs that have got MBAs, and they might actually have PhDs, but they're running pharmaceutical companies. And a lot of them are not doctors. They've gone and done a PhD in biotechnology, they've done a PhD in another area, or they're just a very good business manager and they know how to run money and run companies. So that link is there for you so you can see that, yes, biotech companies are risky, but I think I'd love to be working at a job like that and getting paid $38 billion a year running a company. I think you guys might know Allergan is for all your drops that go into your contact solutions, okay? And that's what the income salary is, $32.8 million. So I'm showing you all this because I want you to go understand the amount of money in the medical world and how important it is to take a look at modeling yourself into that world that you might have only thought about in high school as being a doctor or a nurse. It's not that at all. In fact, I will tell you that a lot of the people that I know that have gone to medical school, they decided not to go to medical school after doing pre-med, and they went and did an MBA, or they went and did a PhD in a different area where they still were involved in the medical world, but not as a doctor. Okay, so now I want to show you some more stuff. Here is what an average analyst makes. Now, an analyst is somebody that doesn't actually run a company. Okay, they work for big business corporations like Wall Street Journals, like Goldman Sachs, TD Bank, okay, Guggenheim, Royal Bank. They work there and they're analysts. And what they do is that they go and they actually look at biotechs, okay, and they write reports on all those biotech companies. And analysts get paid sometimes up to $4 million a year. Oh, wait a minute. This analyst is not a doctor, not a nurse. They might have a PhD in biochemistry or biology, okay? But they're not doctors. But they've got a great career making a lot of money in the business of medicine. And here is a good example of an initiation. I'm going to show you this. And by the way, again, everybody has access to all these reports. Here's a report, and I'll just make it a little bit bigger for everybody to see. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Again, the aspect of this class is to make sure I show you all the types of careers in the medical world, not just being a doctor. Here is a report, an analyst report, on a company called Medicina, which I was just talking about. And they've got a $2 Canadian price target on it. Is it risky? Absolutely, it's risky, Tony. But it's a company that's there. You can see the three analysts all have PhDs, okay, in biotechnology. So, but they're not doctors. They're doctorates and a PhD, but they didn't go to med school. And they write a very large report on what Medicina is doing in the business of cancer, okay, and all the trials that they're doing. So if you like this type of stuff of trials, then you would love this kind of business, which is this business is trying to solve molecules in cancer and try to save people that are dying of certain various cancers. How do we find the links when we research other careers? Well, all the links are in this PowerPoint presentation, Sean, that I am going to send out to everybody. So when you get it, you can just control link or control and then go click on it and you'll grab the links to all these different things that we're showing all the slides. Okay? So again, while you're in here, you can also see all the different companies that are involved in this business. They show all these different companies. You can go look at all these different companies. Again, I'm showing you the trunk of the first principles tree of idea generation. Here's all the different companies that are involved in this type of cancer research. And you can go look them up on LinkedIn or on Google. And you can find out whether they're hiring or they're not hiring and all the types of things that they're looking for. By the way, this company, MD&A, will be offering co-op this summer. So all the students that are in our business classes that want to do co-op will be getting an opportunity to go and work at a biotech company, okay? And of course, you're not going to be going there to be a doctor, but you are going to be going there to learn about what's going on. So I'm going to show you another company, okay, here, called Apelli. And this is a smaller company. I'll just do this. Again, it's in the biotech industry, but here's where it's different. If it comes up here, hopefully. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm just going to restart my browser. Not a good time for it to go down, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. Apelli. Here we go. So Apelli is in the business of biodefense vaccines. So you'd say, well, why is that important? Biodefense. Well, you can see right now that the world is at war. There's lots of risk of different types of viruses and terrible things that are potentially used in the war. So the U.S. government has awarded this company $14 million of funding, U.S., to help do biodefense vaccines for the Army for the field of defense. In case you're out there as a military person and there's a virus that gets spread in the air, then it might kill you. So they want vaccines developed for certain viruses that are out there that might kill the Army on the field. And to understand that, biodefense budget, just in the US alone, this year, the US will do, here it is here, I believe they're going to be going up to $6.5 to $7 billion is what it's going to be. $2 billion next year and increasing to $6 to $7 billion just being spent in biodefense. So the question you have to ask yourself now is, if you love the medical world, you might not like being a doctor, but you might like the excitement of viruses and things like that. Then you can go work at smaller companies like this that are now being invested with by the US government with millions and millions of dollars. Do you think that your job is going to be fairly safe there? What do you think, everybody? When billions of dollars is going into these types of companies, do you think that's going to be a good career? Or at least a safe job? What do you think? Yes, so I want everybody to understand what we're trying to teach here. We're not teaching you how to get educated in these things. We're teaching you where the money's going so that you can see that if you build that base to the tree, okay, up here, right here, you now learn that you've got to do work. And I'm providing you with these slides and these PowerPoints so that you can go back in the video, because we post this on YouTube. But you have to go do the work. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me, because that's why we have this system set up now where you're allowed to, you can come in and say, hey, Mr. Moon, I'm working on this modeling of a career. And I'm not saying it has to be medical. I was just given this to us last Sunday as an idea that should model. So I worked on this week to make sure that I had not just, hey, how do we become a doctor, but to broaden your horizons so that you can see all the different areas that are in the medical world that might get you interested. I used a combination of Google. Okay, Sean, Google, by the way, is the most powerful tool out there. Okay, nobody should underestimate. And again, I just told you, by looking at this tree, you have to do your work. But what I'm doing here is giving you the idea of how to go and look for careers by giving you things like this, right? Which is all these reports, all the types of occupations, all the different types of careers that are available and how to get them. And then you go, and I'll give you a good example right here. When you come to this, okay, highest paid pharmaceutical companies. Here's a great example. You can go look, and guess what? When I showed you Bristol Myers is on here. So you can go look at all the companies, and then, quite simple, just type in here. Go to Bristol Myers, okay, Scrib, and click on it. And here you go. You can come across to all the different types of things that are going on at Bristol Myers, which is a billion-dollar company. And you can come in to look at it and say, okay, business development, patients, caregivers, researchers. How do I become a researcher? Investors, business development, and careers. Okay? And up here, I'll just do this, contact us and careers. And suddenly you can come in and find all the types of careers that are involved at Bristol Myers. And they're not being a doctor, but it's still in the medical business world or medical world where all the money's going to, because I just showed you the trillions of dollars that's going there every year. Okay, Sean? By the way, these are great questions, Sean. And when you got a question, okay, I see, but I think the U.S. is going to fall by the time. Candace, I don't think the U.S. is going to fall by the time you graduate. If you think that, we're all in a lot of trouble in the world, right? But I will say that I don't think it's going to fall. But I wanted to show you something here, guys, because I Made It, we've also brought on all these different CEOs. So the company I was just showing you, Medicina, we've had the CEO come on and do a speech, okay? We've had the CEO of Apelli, which is in biodefense, come on and speak. And if you look, he was actually head of the U.S. Army Research Institute. So these are people that you can ask questions to. So when we run these CEO talks, I suggest that everybody come and you can ask them questions. This gentleman is now developing, it could be developing a big cure for cancer. A risk, again, it doesn't work, but it's there. Okay, and these are all people that are very smart people. Now, he is an MD. Fahar is not an MD, he's a PhD in biotechnology. So, again, great careers. And look, lots of fun to be able to speak to these people and ask them how they got where they got. And this Dr. Armand told everybody how he actually didn't do that well in high school, and it took him a lot longer at university because he didn't have a career modeled out. So once he got it modeled out, you can see the success he's been, and he makes a lot of money as the CEO of this company. Dr. Fahar Marshall makes about $800,000 to $900,000 a year as the CEO of this company. And these are companies that don't even have cures for cancer yet. They're making a lot more than a doctor makes. You see? So again, I want you to understand that going to med school is good, but if you love medicine, it's not the end-all place. There are hundreds of thousands of other careers in this business, and I'm here to help you if you want to go down those modeling paths and find them. And I've given you a lot of data here on how to find those careers and how to go and start looking at them. Okay? So as I click back up here, I want to show you again a takeaway. The takeaway is this. Go take a look at these reports, like this report. It allows you to come in and find all the types of careers. And in the case of clinical laboratory technologists and technicians, it's there. You can click on it, and you can see all the types of jobs, work environment, laboratory technologists, education needed, okay, and the types of stuff, the important qualities to have. So these are great things to go and use as tools to figure out whether you actually would like the medical industry or not. Okay, so now, question. And I always like to end with this a little bit, but I want to tie into my personal story again of when I was in high school and I was told that I'm good in sciences, but are you going to become a doctor? I'm good at this. I'm going to become a engineer. What else am I going to do? Well, I'm good in art. Well, guess what? There are lots of marketing opportunities in the business world of medical. And that's why there's billions of dollars that are going there every year. They need to be used for not just developing a new cure, but marketing that job. So if you're going to go and do a marketing degree or a business degree, why not go to an industry that has billions of dollars going into it, as opposed to going to an industry that doesn't have billions of dollars going into it, but you love art, or you love marketing, or you love sales. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm getting at, everybody, is that you want to be able to look at where the money's going at. And I provided you that link up here with how much money is being spent just in the medical business alone to be educated in the medical world. $162 billion per year. Per year is being spent just in the medical education world. So you might want to become an educator. You say, look, I don't want to go and operate on people. I don't want to go and sit in a lab, but I do want to be an educator in the medical business. $162 billion goes to teachers in the medical world to teach other people how to get up in the medical world. And you can imagine that where that money goes to. Well, look at this, guys. If I go to Bristol Myers, as I just said, look at the people that are working at Bristol Myers. How do you have credibility if you do not really OD it yourself? What? Sorry, I'm missing that, Candace. Say that again. How do you have credibility then if you do not really OD it yourself? What does that mean, Candace? Tell me that. Because I actually, if you do not really do it yourself. In my own world? Are you asking about myself, Candace? Or are you asking about, like if you want to do it? How do you have credibility? Oh, you mean as being a teacher? Well, yes, of course. When you're going to become a teacher in the business of medical, again, take a look at this, everybody. To be a teacher at Bristol Myers, okay, is not meaning that you have to be a doctor. You could be in the world of business, okay? So you can be a teacher at Bristol Myers talking about commercial leadership and development, finance. Remember, all these companies, if I click up here and show you what they're doing, okay, it takes a lot of money to run these companies. When I showed you the clinical trial site, right, which is a massive site, 400, almost 500,000 clinical trials going on, all those clinical trials, okay, that are going on out there, and I'll show it to you again, right? All these clinical trials, each one of them takes hundreds of millions of dollars to put together. So you can be a person that goes and teaches how to raise money, how to structure companies, how to build companies, and then you can get CEOs to come in that know what they're doing on the medical side. So these are all the jobs. The key to understanding this is that you have to understand that trillions of dollars are going towards the medical world every year. So when you're sitting at your desk at high school going, oh, I'm not good at science or I'm not good at math, but there's trillions of dollars going to the medical world. That's an area that you probably want to be involved in. So your job now is to go to find all the jobs that may not be just oriented at being a PhD in science, but in other areas of internships, law, you could be a lawyer, okay? Or you can be in finance, or you can be in commercial leadership and development programs, okay? So there's a lot of other areas involved in the medical world that you can get a degree in and then go be very successful because a lot of money is going there. So I think that's the key takeaway that I want to say to everybody today. I know we're a little over time, but the key takeaway is this. I always say follow your passion, and I get it. You got to follow somewhere where you want to go. But you also got to understand there's got to be capital going to that area. And the key takeaway today was I was showing you how much money goes to all these different areas of science, whether it's being a doctor, in the cancer, all these types of trials. And because of that, it puts you in a good position where you're probably going to be quite successful. And you're going to have a career. And this career is not, I believe, going to be taken over by AI. And so are there jobs where you just negotiate? Yes, Sean, absolutely. I know somebody just put, absolutely. There's jobs where you just negotiate with the company. This is what I'm getting at. You don't need to be a PhD in chemistry to run a biotech company. You can be the person that raises the capital. So let's say Benjamin and Ethan, okay? And Wayne, you don't want to be the person that comes up with the way to develop a drug, but you go raise the capital to help get that drug into the laboratory, pay all the lab technicians, all the different scientists, okay? And if that drug saves a lot of people, then you've done a great job and you're the business side of the corporation. And you get paid very well for that. You see? So again, key takeaway, going to med school doesn't necessarily mean you can't be in the medical world. It's $1 trillion business. Okay? So again, top down, looking at the whole medical world, bottom up, looking at all the different types of jobs and careers, and then analyzing your skills and qualities and the education required to go after these types of jobs. Did everybody find that interesting? I know it's a lot of information again, and it's on the video, and I hope I answered a lot of people's questions, and I appreciate all the questions that are coming in. Yeah, I'm here to alleviate a lot of your concerns, okay? This is the key, guys. We're trying to alleviate the fear that you have sitting at your desk at school that I don't know where I'm going. And even if you're smart, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know the types of careers that are out there. You need to start doing some of this work yourself. And that's that first principles idea generation tree, where you got to start looking at the base and looking at all the types of careers. And I've given you a lot of the tools today to go and start searching out those careers. And the mindset is to go look at these careers. And again, you may not like any of them in the medical world. And that's fine. But you need to go at least look at that area first and say, okay, I've looked at a lot of that area and I throw that out now. I'm not going to be in that area. But you got to go look at it because you might be stunned at what happens when you look at all these jobs and go, you know, I find that interesting. I had no idea that existed. And the last thing, everybody, that you want to say to yourself in 6 or 7 years ago when you're just finishing university and 4 years of work and money is, oh my goodness, I didn't know I could do an MBA and be a big top paying person at Bristol Myers, because that's the medical world. Okay? Or I didn't go to med school, so I'm a failure. No, you make more money not being a doctor than you do being a doctor in the medical world in many different areas. But if your passion is being a doctor, albeit you need to go there. And the last poll I didn't throw up was, there is a global shortage of doctors. Okay? And I know we've run over time, so a lot of people have to go, but we need about 6.4 million doctors in the 132 countries right now. 6.4 million. This is not like 50 years ago. This is as of this year. So you can imagine that's something that we would normally throw into the idea generation tree and go, how are we going to solve this? Okay? If we need that many doctors and it takes 11 years to become a doctor, we got a really big problem, don't we? So how would we solve this? And one of the ways that they're solving it is they're making nurses become nurse practitioners. Okay? Yeah, there's a lot of work for doctors, Sean. If you want to go down that path of 7 to 11 years of being a doctor, it's fantastic. Okay? Because they need it. And they are working on having other people now to become nurse practitioners. So you go get a nursing degree and you do a lot of the things doctors do, but you don't need to go through 11 years of nursing school. And you can take a lot of the load off doctors by helping patients because you're a nurse. Okay? So they are working on new ideas on how to alleviate the amount of shortage of physicians out there. But I wanted to show you this at the end because for anybody that wants to become a doctor, there's a massive shortage of doctors, and it's not going to end anytime soon. I think there's another profession. I don't know what askers are, but so I hope everybody enjoyed that class, guys. It took me the week to put this thing together because I gave it a lot of thought because I listened to what you wanted. I hope that some people found that interesting. The last class, somebody asked about food in the food industry. Okay, physician. So I don't know, does anybody have another area of education or careers that they're thinking about that they would like to be broken down for the last class? Computer science. Oh, that's a great one. You know what? I would love to do computer science next because that involves a lot of areas from coding to pilot. I can do that too. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to do computer science and food, okay? Because I'm going to do both, and I'll break it down half and half, so we won't get heavy into both. But computer science because that's cybersecurity, and it's a lot of other jobs. Sean wants chairs again, right? Yeah, which is so. There you go, everybody. I wanted to just throw that out there. I'll work on something for next week on computer science and food. Okay, does that sound fair? And then we can take other ideas from everybody next time, and we can create some more of these things. Okay, everybody, I hope I answered most of the questions. If you have further questions, please reach out to us through Miss Shelley. We will work on them. This is what we're here for, to alleviate a lot of that stress, okay? Okay, everybody, have a great week ahead. Enjoy school. It's fun, but you got to have a direction, right? Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. See you soon. Great questions, guys.